Dave Palumbo here for Muscle Serpents University. I'm here in Daytona, Florida at the Daytona Reptile Breeders Show. I got away from the day, guys. I drove 4 hours. I'm here to show you guys what the greatest and latest is inside that arena where we have all the booths set up. Anything from snakes, blue-tongued skinks, reptiles, tortoises, turtles. Who knows what's in there? I don't know. I'm going to find out. I'm going to talk to all the big breeders, and I'm going to give you guys a bird's eye view of what's going on here in Daytona, Florida today. All right, before I go into the expo, I got a little friend. What's his name? Hermes, the Savannah monitor here. And let me interview him. Hermes, how do you feel about the Daytona Reptile Breeder Show today? Oh, you don't say. You know, it's pretty cool that you're just chilling out on my shoulder here. You're going to be my sidekick all day. Sometimes it's good to have a little help with my interviews. Anything to say? Oh, really? Okay, well, we'll see you inside, and you could show me the best booths to go interview. I appreciate it. Dave Palumbo, going inside now to check out the booths. The reason I'm on my knees right here is because I'm trying to get close to my good friend, Sean.
Not on your knees.
On my knee, sorry. On one knee. One knee's cool. That's like bro stuff, right?
No ring.
No ring. Oh, Sean, will you marry me?
There's no love here. There's no ring. All right, so what's up, Dave?
You're not only do you have a great business, exotic by nature.
Oh, thank you.
But you also got a great podcast that I listen to every episode. When you put them out, bullshit.
We don't put them out yet. Right, and I've got like an hour and 30. I'll probably trim it a little bit, but it's just he and I geeking out on shit. Like, okay, so for everybody that watches your YouTube, a lot of you guys are coming up in this business and you want to meet some of these big dogs, you know? I mean, some of you even consider me a big dog. I don't like to consider myself a big dog. When people put me in a category of even Barchak and McCurley and Tracy Barker and stuff, it's all like it's an insult to them, to me. But anyway, I mean,
you've been around since the beginning, so you know the whole history. Very few people know the history.
And that's the thing. That's what my Bullshit podcast, that's what it's called, the Bullshit podcast. That's what the Bullshit podcast is really in touch with. It's talking to young breeders about what their goals are and what they're doing, as well as talking to older breeders that have been around and established for many, many years. I'm trying to get guys like Mark Bell and Pete Call and people that you don't hear of and you hear of names and infamy, like, oh my God, where are these guys? They're like the Ben Franklins of our industry, you know, and it's just really, you know, right down the aisle here, we have Freedom Breeder right down the aisle with Lindy Johnson, who started Freedom Breeder. I named him on my episode the Henry Ford of reptiles because he invented the structure of keeping rodents where you could leave them for periods of time with automatic water, right? With automatic water and stuff. So I'm not trying to get off on too much of a tangent here, but when you have these older people, and Lindy has done my podcast, he's never done an interview with anyone, maybe aside from he might have done you, he might have done yours. I'm not sure. Just being at shows and doing something.
I'm going to grab him after this. Yeah.
You want to try to go get him and say, dude, I'm done with Sean saying you're the only fucking interview. This is the only beeping interview, right. You know, that we do. But no, Lindy did a great episode. He came to my house actually.
That was awesome.
That's my favorite, aside from Ben Rennick's podcast. That's my cherished one. And then the Greg Graziani, Dave Kaufman one is awesome. And that's actually Ben Rennick, you know, my late friend. Yeah. Did a great podcast.
Yeah, he's missed.
Did a great podcast. But anyway, let's get back to today. This show is awesome, dude. This show is the most people I've seen in Daytona. How many Daytonas have you been to?
This is about my fifth, but yeah, this seems pretty busy.
How's it busy today?
Yeah, I think so.
Vendors too. Lots of vendors. Vendors were full. I didn't have a table and they were sold out. I packed up all this stuff and came here with no table.
Why'd you decide to come all of a sudden? Because I haven't seen you here for a bunch of years.
No, I came last year. The year before,
I wasn't here last year.
Right, the year before I had surgery, and the year before that I was over there somewhere buried. But yeah, I try to do it every now and again because it is a great show. Okay, I've come to this show since 1994. Every single one.
That's crazy.
Every single one. So I'm 38. Every single one. So I was 14, and except for the year that I broke my back and I was confined to a hospital bed, and then 2 years later
you're excused.
Yeah, it's not an excuse for me, man. I was dying. I was like, oh my God, this is my first Wayne Hill show I've never missed. Wayne's gonna bury my ass next time I want to do a show. He's never gonna give me a table ever again. Because back in the day, there was a wait on this show like crazy. I mean, if you lost your table, good luck. You were either in the hallway by the bathroom. I'm right by the bathroom. But we don't have a hallway.
Now, you're very well known on the podcast and even on your Facebook. You call out anyone. You're not afraid. If someone does something wrong to you or you think they're doing some injustice to our industry, you call them right out and aggressively do so. Why did you take that stance right from the beginning? Because obviously you make enemies doing that. I know I do that in the bodybuilding world sometimes.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if it's make enemies so much as...
These guys get pissed off. They got no sense of humor about themselves.
Yeah, they get mad, and that's fine, but did it straighten it out?
Might have.
Most of the time, yes. And most of the time, I don't stop until it does straighten it out. I just think screwing people over with animals. Like, look, we're not selling TVs here. Not everything is the same 50-inch Samsung. It's not like that. We have guys in this show that probably have mites in their collection. They have kids running around wanting to hold snakes. Kids hold said snakes at his table. Kids come and ask me. I let kids hold snakes. They give my snakes mites. Hence now I have to tell children that they can't hold my snakes.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't like that. I want children to be able to hold my snakes. I want to be able to introduce youth without worrying about pathogens killing my entire livelihood. And that has happened with the virus that ran around, with mites like boa constrictors getting IBD infections back in the day, thinking it was from blood contact from mites, people euthanizing things that were acting funny. You know, just like, who wants to quarantine 200 animals just to go make some money at a show for a weekend and have fun? That's not fun.
I'm petrified to bring my animals here.
That's right, that's right. So every one of these cases gets preventamited before. Every one of these animals' cages gets preventamited before we put them back in. We go through rigorous things to be sure that our collection is clean, that what we're shipping out is clean. And when somebody ships something out that isn't clean, that's not cool. Or when somebody, like, for instance, for me, I won't name a name on your show, but somebody like was delivering snakes for me on a favor. But on a favor to me, when you're taking live animals, means it gets from A to B. It didn't get from A to B. A couple of them died, or well, one of them died in a shipping accident that wasn't his fault. Another one was starved because he had it for 6 months in Europe and it wasn't fed at all.
Oh my God.
And the other one that was fine was an adult animal. It didn't lose weight and it was delivered to the wrong client, and it was a $2,000 snake. And they told me literally F off, F you when I on the phone when I was trying to deal with them.
So you feel it's your responsibility to point these people out?
I feel that with Facebook and stuff, we all make asses of ourselves all the time. I make an ass of myself when I make some posts. Sometimes I delete them. Sometimes I leave them. If you ask me about it, I'll always own up to what I said. If I made a mistake talking something about something, I'm happy to make a repair of my error. I'm happy to go back and recant my statement and take my guilt. And in this industry, I tell you what, some of these guys in this room I hated when I was young. Some of them hated me. Some of them now are my best friends.
That's funny.
And the fact is that we're all grown men breeding colored worms for lots of cash. And that's worse than if a nail salon had sex with a fucking real estate agency. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible.
Show me this.
The drama doesn't go away. But here's the thing, though. Are you buying the snake or are you buying the person? Like, why would Winston Smith...
Both, because you're buying the reputation of the person.
Right. Why would Winston Smith soar with a project whereas some other man took the same project and didn't quite soar with it? You know why? Is it marketing? Is it his shiny bald head that he must wax to keep it so shiny? You can't shoot him under these lights, dude. It's not going to show up. You're going to have a lens flare. You're going to have a lens. Oh, I love Winston. Winston's one of my best friends. Brock, however, no, don't ask Brock about me.
No,
don't ask Brock
like
about me. No, I won't talk bad
Brock and I like getting along. Which is a bodybuilding connection.
Yeah, right.
All right, show me this Hatari.
All right, so we're going to introduce a new gene. The super form is called the ATARI ball. Now, I don't have...
Atari like the video game.
Ball like the video game. I don't have an Atari ball, but I have a photo of an Atari ball. Let me see if you can get it on the camera. Can you get that photo? That's a lesser Atari, okay?
Pretty cool.
It's very cool. It could definitely be a trend-setting new thing. I'm certainly excited about its future.
Show me what you got here. I want to see some live.
What I have is, this is a lesser Hatari that you just saw in this picture, a lesser Atari.
And Atari basically whacks out a little bit where the alien heads are.
Alien heads, the back, everything's squared off. It looks a lot like Angolan pythons. It's very pixelated.
I was going to say that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, a very pixelated back, you know, and everything. Very interesting look to it. And we've seen it interact really well with Lesser and with Mojave. Well, not with Mojave, I'm sorry. With Lesser and with Pastel Lesser. And she's also seen it with, my partner's also seen it with Pastel and stuff. And it's there.
Now you call the head version the Hatari, which I like.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it rolls off your tongue. It works well. I mean, the original project.
You're good at naming things, I noticed. You have very good names for things.
I came up with the puzzle when I saw the first puzzle because it was a pastel puzzle and a super pastel, and it looked like a puzzle. And this is what I said, before you leave, go zoom in on this lesser puzzle up here. Because if you look at it, I tell my employees and stuff, I'm still adding genes, and it still looks like jigsaw puzzle pieces. And everybody
doesn't lose its pattern.
You know what's funny is everybody's bagging on the pinstripe puzzle because it's not all that sexy.
Right.
I got Mojave puzzles, man. What's a pinstripe Mojave called?
What are you calling it?
What's a pinstripe Mojave called? A jigsaw puzzle, right?
Ah,
Nobody wants
yeah.
to make a jigsaw puzzle.
That's
just for
great.
name's
Yeah,
sake.
you're right. The name alone. And you have that other one. What was the other one? The Mick.
Oh, the Mackenzie. We're working on the Mackenzie, or we have or the McKenzie.
What was that other puzzle you came up with? It's a great name. You've been trying to. You said you didn't even care if you made it, but you just wanted the name.
Bamboozle.
The Bamboozle.
The bamboo puzzle. The Bamboozle. And you know what? I didn't make it. I sold.
Oh, you did?
I kept two males. I sold a female. William Philippek bought it, raised it up faster than I can get one of my males to breed because they were kind of lame. Then, because both males wouldn't breed, I sold one of them to Dominic Catalfamo in Southern California.
He produced it?
He bred it. Yeah. They've both produced bamboozles 2 years in a row. I've produced none. So William produced the GHI het puzzles, and I'm not going to beat him. But I tell you what, I was going to name it Hoodwinked because he made that, and I bought him from him. And if I beat it to him, I was going to call it Hoodwinked, dude.
That's awesome.
Because he bamboozled me.
Show me the Hatari.
All right, Hatari.
All right. We want to see some snakes here.
Well, you can do my podcast.
I like this one.
Do my podcast.
Yeah.
Then you can go.
Yeah. We'd go for 2 hours, 3 hours probably.
I love that. People love that.
I'd wind up interviewing you.
I'll put up an 8-hour episode if I had to.
Okay.
Hatari. This is simply it mixed with lesser. That's it.
I love it.
Just simply it mixed with lesser. The high white sides.
I love all this weirdness going on.
Weirdness in the sides, right? Okay. And the pastel version is subtly different. Subtly different. Like I had an argument with another breeder about if this was a pastel or not, but it is. The sides on it are very, very like stranger-like white coming up. The pattern on it's a little bit brighter yellow. There it goes. And it's a little different down the back.
I love this back, the stripe.
That is simply a pastel lesser combo.
Wow.
So it is powerful. It is very powerful.
What would you ideally like to mix this into? Like if you had clown?
What's funny, these are het for VPI Xanthic. These ones right here.
Those all look kind of wacky.
So the way I do my feeding, and I get torn up online for doing my feeding.
What, every 2 days?
No, 5 days a week.
5
days a week. We'll feed this male Monday through Friday. Very small meals that you'd actually have to palpate the animal to feel them. Very small meals. Like this animal right here wouldn't get it yet. We'd wait until he was about 150 grams to start it. And once we start it, we get him breeding in 5 to 6 months.
I bought a het albino scaleless head from you, if you remember, and that thing was breeding at 5 months old.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And what I've found is that when you've done that, you keep their metabolism going. They don't get obese at all.
No.
They don't ever grab like any tail fat. They grow in length. They look like a normal snake. But the cool thing about it is all of my collection I've raised this way for the last 7 years, they don't go off food. Ever. Never. They don't go off food. I've literally fed.
Even females?
I lost a picture and you won't believe me. I literally fed a male and a female while they were copulating and they were strangling rats. They were strangling frozen. I gave them frozen. They were strangulating frozen rats and still in coitus.
Wow. Pretty impressive.
Well, they eat every day as babies, about 5 days a week, so they think it's a daily routine. Drinking, sleeping, eating. So just like the Pavlovian response we try to avoid with pet keepers, like feed them in a separate box, I just feed them 5 days a week.
What do you think this would look like with clown in it?
I don't know, but I do have a clutch of eggs from a super blade clown from this.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I used a lesser Hatari and a pastel lesser Hatari stud males, and I bred them to VPI Xanthic, pastel puzzle. That's 9 eggs in an incubator right now.
Wow, that's going to be nice.
Pastel puzzle Hatari, Hatari's head puzzle, pastel and Hatari's head puzzle. Here's the base gene. Let's look at the base gene real quick.
This is Hatari with nothing else.
This is Hatari with nothing else by itself.
And you can still see it. You can still see it.
And quite a few morphs are presenting in this. And I mean, this stuff is like, how do you market a new project? How do you market something that can change the palette of what we work with? I mean, when Acid was marketed, it was what, 20,000, 25,000?
I think Josh is still charging that for that.
Well, no, it come down. It's had to come down because it at some point it chokes itself. You can't do that. One of the things about us with a project like this is we already have a name. I built puzzles for 10 years. The first puzzle I sold for 10 years ago for $9,500. I sell out right now of that exact model for $2,750.
That's pretty damn good.
Less than 25%. It's more than 25% of its original value after a decade.
That's impressive.
That is unheard of ball pythons in the last 15 years. No other ball python morph has done that.
I think the fact that you're also out there doing podcasts, also people know you. And
the puzzle project, as well as this Hatari project, if I can get my partner to go along with it, well, I'm sure she will, was also the first and only project marketed through charity auction donations. I marketed this project through U.S. ARC donations for the last 7 years. And this project alone this year, I get teary-eyed when I think about it, has raised a little over $20,000.
That's awesome. Yeah. What would you call
puzzles?
What would you call the puzzle Hatari or puzzle Hatari? You got to come up with a good name for that.
We got to look at the video games, man. They had a lot of titles.
Yeah.
They had a lot of titles.
Maybe Tetris or something like that.
Oh, was Tetris an Atari
Tetris.
game?
I don't know. It was, yeah.
Was it a Nintendo game?
Oh, that's a good question.
It was a Nintendo game.
Well, no, it's hard.
Can't do that. I don't know. We might be able to do that.
There's got to be some game with blocks.
You know what, though?
dropping.
People might think it's a hybrid then, right? If
There
we
you
name
go.
it a Nintendo name, right?
Called the Tetris.
But puzzles like the Bumblebee puzzle, I called the Buzz, right? Right? I went a little crazy with the vibe, all right? It was the Pastel Lesser puzzle. If anybody knows Howard Stern, if anybody knows what a pocket rocket is, I was going to call it the pocket rocket because it was a lesser vibe, right? It was a lesser vibe. It was a smaller vibrator, right? So it was a lesser vibe. And then the fluff was named after a fluffer on a porn set. That's part of my Mojave.
You know where your head's at.
Yeah, well, no, actually, that's Luke Martin's deal there. I won't even claim that. Luke, you're nuts. But yeah, we had that. Like, what are we going to call it? Red Gene? And nobody's going to doubt it because it didn't come from Blackheads. What are we going to call it? He's like, I don't know, man. In banana, look, it gets the color up and it keeps it there. So fine, let's call it a fluffer. I was like, no, we can't do that, dude. Let's just call it the fluff. And my employee's like, you got to ask Sean to explain that one.
Sean,
you know?
I anoint you the most entertaining guy in the industry.
Come on, you might be the most entertaining on YouTube.
Thank you.
I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Because I'm not on YouTube yet.
How do people get in touch with you?
I don't know. Stalk me? I don't
Stalk
know.
this guy. He'll find you, believe me.
Right.
Sean,
What's funny is if you listen to podcasts, there's a podcast called Comedy Bang Bang. It's a big deal. It's a lot of comedians from Comedy Central. I'm listening to one of them one time, and I rarely ever listen to it. Midway through the episode, the guy says, yeah, you know what? That's about to happen like a guy in a goddamn wheelchair keeping snakes.
did he really say that?
Yeah. Yeah, and I fucking emailed him immediately. It was
Send him a picture?
it was Jason Mantzoukas from the League, the guy that plays the crazy brother-in-law, the guy that's all
That's awesome.
on sex and shit.
Did he respond to you?
No, he didn't, the bastard. He didn't.
God.
You know what? And I got written down the timestamp and the number of the podcast. I'm gonna bite it. I'm gonna use it for my episode once.
Should. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, it's nice talking to you, Dave.
Thanks for keeping it real.
Thanks a lot. And you know what? Thanks for buying some snakes for me too, dude.
Oh, no.
Let me know what you got for
You
sale.
got good
when
stuff.
You got for sale, you know?
definitely will.
When you got it. Maybe do some trading or something.
I love it. Sean Bradley here at Exotics by Nature.
Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the show, Dave.